Oh my
That
god.
can be our unofficial VTuber unit name, the Sad Daddies.
Sad
Oh,
daddies.
God.
Hey, yo, let's go.
None of you are parents, though.
I'm parent aged.
The word daddy can have many meanings.
That's true too, Yam. Yeah, that's right. Listen,
So true.
You know what? You're right. I'm
he
uncultured.
didn't say fathers. Oh my god, dude, we're already off the hinges and we haven't even said a single friggin' word for the actual.
Okay, I need to first of all pull up the actual changes so that we have the context.
We can watch
So-
Jasmine Gold together. Yeah, Malbat.
Yippee.
I will read
2026.
this out loud to you so that you remember the context.
Oh yeah.
So we wish to notice you of some upcoming changes to be made to Holo Stars management structure. Launch in 2019. Oh yeah. However, the current
Anyway.
state of Holo Stars business has forced us as a company to have repeated discussions about how to maintain Holo Stars in a sustainable manner. We considered the future direction of the group's activities from various perspectives. Ultimately, we have arrived at the conclusion that changing the management structure in a way that fits the current status of Holo Stars activities is unavoidable. As a result, the company-led activities of the group, which have progressed alongside the individual activities of each talent, will be coming to a close. So, company-led activities of the group are no longer. From this fiscal year onward, activity policies will shift to mainly focus on individual activities, aka you are on your own, fellas. Moreover, as we will reallocate certain resources, some of our support will be limited or conclude entirely. So they're going to pull the resources or reallocate them to the talents who are making money. These structural changes will mainly affect company-led projects and initiatives, talent streams conducted in company studios, all types of new merchandise releases, including anniversary streams, production and release of original songs, etc. Meanwhile, within this new structure, we will continue to provide the necessary and appropriate environment and support for each talent to pursue their activities in line with aforementioned policies. Basically, we're not going to force them to graduate. That's how I interpret the sentence. It's like, they're allowed to keep using their model because what else is left? What else is left?
Run out. Yeah.
I'll tell you what else is left. The cut.
Oh yeah, we are in discussion with each talent regarding their activity. Meaning, we'll probably see some graduations. Probably. Which makes me sad, but yes, we will probably see some graduations. And respect their wishes to the best of our abilities. We hope that you will continue to give your warm support for the talent's activities. Please understand that these changes are being made as an executive decision aiming to optimize the overall business and has not been caused by any of the talents themselves. Please refrain from directly inquiring. Well, they had a lot to say personally, so you didn't even have to inquire. Once again, we hope for your continued support. Okay, so that's what we are reacting to today. Mainly.
The Stars and La Plus Darkness had lots to say about it.
Yeah, and so did Herb, ERB.
And Kiara.
And Kiara. Oh,
Chihuahua.
Yeah. Chihuahua. Let us.
She wasn't too chicken to weigh in on this one.
This is gonna be a long recording. Let us first have you guys introduce you so that I can have that in the recording. Of course, I'll have you guys your links so that you can promote whatever you want.
You may want to stop streaming because your audio is cutting out.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I'll stop streaming.
It's okay. It's just
Well, sure, but like just in
There's a
general
bandwidth thing, you know.
Yeah, it's just a bandwidth thing. Yes, hello. I am Greibach, digital vampire, or maybe cyber vampire. I'm your maxing VTuber, and I love to play all sorts of action, adventure, and RPG games. And as you may have noticed, I am male. That is my qualifications for being here today. Yes, and also I'm friends with Yam.
The friends with Yam is that's the real secret. That'll project you through the ranks. Hello, I'm Z tier celebrity Okus. I am a YouTube streamer. I'm not only a male VTuber, I'm a YouTube VTuber. So that's 2 debuffs. But I make video essays on anime and retro video games, and I stream mostly retro and indie stuff. And I have I'm the only person alive who still talks about Echo the Dolphin. Hi, everybody. Wow.
Listen, I already self-declared as a boomer. Like I definitely know about Echo the Dolphin.
If you
He
know,
may have
you
just gotten the
know.
3 oldest male VTubers too. I'm not sure.
I'm 24. I'm pretty young. I don't know.
Listen,
I'm
way
maxing.
to ruin it.
I'm
also a
Kanisu.
Sonic Twitch.
I make video commentary videos, but I've been lately on a pretty big VTweeter arc lately. So I haven't really put out many videos, but I plan to stream more. So hopefully you'll check that out on my YouTube channel someday. Soon TM, you know.
No, I
Listen, if you
should.
want to run a charity
Games,
stream and donate
kids.
the money to me, I'll take it. Like,
Yeah, donate to Male VTuber Fund.
Male VTuber fund.
we're an
Please,
endangered
please.
species, you know.
Oh yeah, we need like an AI slop video of us in like a little cardboard box, homeless on the street, and then it's a POV shot of Yam like adopting us, you know?
In the arms of an angel.
Angel.
Saccharine piano music, and we're all speaking Chinese. Well, okay, Yam can speak Chinese. We'll just say Goo Goo Gaga.
So guys, that
Oh, you're breaking up again, by the way. Yeah.
people have really.
I got not a single syllable out of what you said.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Yam.
Oh, it's my. Okay, mics.
I don't think it's your mic.
Try
Yeah,
No.
initializing your
Is
gigabytes.
it genuinely?
Yeah,
I think
pretty
it's just
bad.
your internet. Yeah.
It's
Mm.
just my internet. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna start recording my audio on my side then. Cool.
Maybe we can get set up with like a telegraph, you know?
We like to call those DMs.
DMs.
They're digital communications. So you could just type it. I
Yeah,
hear
it was
you,
literally
yes.
it was literally like beeping for like a minute.
Yeah, when you were plugging
Wow.
it in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's a workaround for bandwidth issues, you know?
No, I genuinely think it's my mic cable.
Oh.
That could be it, because it was like very staticky, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Fun. Now I just have to look, because my mic cable is also dying. Actually, I can switch it out. If you guys don't mind, this is gonna take
No, you're
forever,
good.
but you know, I'll switch out my
Poor
mic cable
Yam.
really quick.
Those Yam rays are coming after technology again.
So you remember Okus when I said I was having audio issues and that's why we can't
Yeah.
stream? I'm
Yeah.
still having the audio issues.
I remember when your computer was physically destroyed from trying to play Sonic Adventure.
But I mean, we can just start rolling
Sure.
off questions if you guys are ready.
So we were here to discuss that the cover announced that Holo Stars has been put out to stud, as the saying goes.
Out to pasture.
Put out
I
the
never
Being
pasture.
put out stud means something very different.
Sent out to the glue factory,
Oh my gosh.
which is fitting because seemingly they were the glue that held HoloLive together. Oh, you know, a lot of HoloLive people came out and said the first VTuber I ever saw was a Holo Star, and that's what made me want to audition to HoloLive in the first place. I'm like, whoa, really?
true.
That's ironic on several layers.
Yeah. I mean, Holo Stars, man, we could talk about how great Holo Stars are forever. But
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
but I'd like to keep this somewhat condensed because I don't want Gry to have like a giant file to have to transfer to me.
That's fine. I don't care. My PC is strong.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh,
I'm running out of space, but I record every 5-hour stream every time, so I've got enough room for a while.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay. All right. So my first question to you guys, and we can just go down the line each time since Gray is very prepared. My question to you guys is, what do you believe is Cover's reasoning for discontinuing more resources going to HoloStars Japan? And do you believe that they were somewhat justified in this discontinuation?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the justification is basically just that they don't make as much money as as Cover is allocating resources to them. And so, like, it's probably purely a financial decision. It's not personal. So, in that sense, I think it's justified in air quotes, given that they seem unwilling to try and change things up or take experiments. So if the question is like, uh given their current trajectory, if we're not going to change what they're allowed to do or encouraged to do, is it reasonable to like basically stop funding them if they're losing money? And the answer is like, I guess so. That wouldn't be what I would want to do with them, but we don't know the business realities behind the scene.
No, indeed. Yeah. But you just splice in the SpongeBob meme, money, you know? That's a good that summarizes it pretty well. Yeah, I mean, like, in a vacuum, just the idea of, okay, if they're not making money and they are a business, it's justified. But is it justified that they don't want to try to rehabilitate the business? It seems like they're just cutting off the foot to spite the nose, or however the phrase goes. You know what I mean? It's
It's
like,
cutting off the nose to spite the face.
there we go. Well, some body parts getting spote or other. Then there's, well, like, because at a time there was a time where I could have said, yeah, but what are they gonna do? No one knows if this is even gonna. But then Luxium came. There's the Luxium precedent, right? So they probably could, play around with some levers and buttons until they come up with a money making marvel. But, and I'm sure we'll get into this later, but I can imagine that there's maybe reasons they're hesitant to do that. Maybe they're deciding it's just safest to be like, you know what, let's just stick with the all girls idol thing, and give the fellas some runway to land gracefully, that they
Yeah, I
need
mean,
not
like going
cannibalize
inside with
themselves like soccer teams,
yeah, going along with like what Gray Box said, I think just it's generally just like a business decision. It's just
Yeah.
business in the regard that like they seem not to be a pretty profitable venture for the company, at least from the long term that they've been going. I do think they did try to like promote them at conventions and such, with events and such. Because I remember like Anime NYC, they were like alongside there with the girl talents as well. And I
Mhm.
think they were part of a couple. I think they had one concert as well within the hall. I can't remember exactly. Like they
They
could have
had
definitely done more, but yeah, I don't think they didn't try per se.
They did have a concert. I will put the exact information on the screen, but their concert indeed also sold out.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
I
good.
know I was VOD crew for that. It was nice.
Yeah, so like I think even though they haven't seen like as much success as like ID or DevIS, like their other side projects, I don't know if like necessarily the success not being there is really due to like there not being a market per se. I think they're like Luxium definitely shows there is somewhat of a market there, but I'm not sure what they could have necessarily done to really get them to that point. I don't know.
Well, I do wonder if they're actively losing money on HoloStars, or if they make money but just not at the scale that they want to see at this point, because
I'm
Cover
gonna
is just
guess
so much bigger.
I would guess that they're losing money based on purely like tangential talent, or not talent, tangential employment that is required
Right.
for supporting a business. So like paying the full-time salaries of multiple managers and like paying for people to be for their job to be overseeing and coordinating these various projects. I think that given the viewership that we see on average, it is likely that they are not making enough to justify their full-time employees. And then as for, I think what's really a big question mark is it seems like they get a lot less promotion in terms of things like concerts and merchandise and things like that. Not none, but like they get less. And so it's like, well, if those underperform and aren't making money, and then they're also not able to make enough money to like support their full-time staff, then from that perspective, you eventually are going to have to change something. I think all of us probably agree that that they should experiment more rather than just cutting them. But like from a purely spreadsheet point of view, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers are like, and now they are publicly traded, right? So
yeah, like that might have been the big change. That it's is it apocryphal, or is it true that the Holo Stars was kind of Yago's personal, like side project that he like tried to keep?
Yeah, I've heard that like quite a while. Like that's is the rank thing about it. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. I'm not actually sure.
That's a very like Japanese company kind of thing. Like the one guy who's like putting his own money into keeping a project going, like the Dreamcast.
He has stated, Yago has specifically stated that Holo Stars was his idea, his dream, and that for the first generation of Holo Stars, he was their personal manager.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
How poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can move on to the next one. So let me know if you need like help understanding my weird wording here. Let me see. Let me fix this. Do you believe that there is no. Do you believe that the cultural ban? Okay. This works. Okay. So my next question is, do you believe the cultural ban between HoloStars and HoloLive exists? If so, what do you think is the root cause of this cultural taboo of HoloStars and HoloLive collabing, coexisting, etc.?
I'm happy to go first, but I'm also happy to let anybody else get the first word in edgewise.
I was assuming it was gonna go the same way.
Yeah.
You can continue being first, Gray. I mean, okay. I'm gonna chop it up anyways.
Okay. So do I believe that there is a cultural ban that exists between them? Yes, asterisk. I think that there is a very vocal portion of the fan base that is absolutely extremely anti-co-ed co-mingling, and they are very loud. And I also think that there is a group of people that those are some of their favorite streams. I am in that group. Literally, some of my favorites HoloLive streams of all time have been the collabs, the so-called Holo Salt era of Magni and Vesper collabing with Crony and Callie primarily, and then occasionally with some of the others. Those were some of the most funny and unhinged and like high personality moments that I've seen from many of the talents. And I actually was going back and looking at some of them, and it kind of made me sad, but I saw a few comments of like, I don't think Cronies laughed as hard as that since like Magni and Vesper left. And I'm like, dang, that's so sad to me, because those collabs were so fun, and they're so the vibe that I'm into. I am not into VTubers for dating or parasocial romance or idol culture at all, and it's very mysterious to me. And I wrote in my answer, that like I really probably shouldn't weigh in too much on exactly the roots of or the thoughts of idol culture, because I've never been part of like K-pop. I've never been part of any of those sort of high stan cultures. But so to me, it's really tragic that this taboo seems to exist, and I really have to hand my hat, or take my hat off, I guess. Give a hand to the women in HoloLive that have stood up for their male counterparts when they did these collabs, and basically did sort of clap back directly to their own fans and say, hey, stop being weird. These are my friends. Like, don't. That they didn't encourage it. The ones that were doing the collabs did not encourage that community behavior whatsoever. They, in fact, very much denounced it. And so I think it's clear that there is a community, and I think the thing that's really challenging is that I am very curious what the overlap in monetary spending of quote unquote unicorns is, because I envision that it's possible that it's like free to play where there's like a lot of fans, but there's a very small number of whales that spend a lot of money on it. And so I'm very curious if they have any data that says like, hey, if we make the unicorns mad, like we lose a lot of money.
Mm.
There
I
may not be that
definitely
data, but
I have anecdotal data. And I could say that it definitely, depending on the streamer, their vibe, and their audience, of course, like this is highly dependent, but I have definitely seen the trend where if a female streamer is giving more of that, it's me and only me, and I'm here for you guys kind of vibes in her stream, she is more prone to attract whales that quite literally enjoy having leverage over their favorite streamer in a sense of like, oh, you know, like if you do this, I can just find another VTuber to like whale for. They're really entitled guys, and it's very hard trying to moderate those kind of chats, those kind of streams, because those guys basically want the VIP treatment and expect it when they're giving these large amounts of money.
yeah. And I mean, from just anecdotal observation, it seems like the same is true in the inverse, which is sort of one of the topics we're going to talk about a little bit later with some of the hot take advice on Twitter. But it seems like the male VTubers that offer a similar vibe of experience also get a lot of that backlash if they collab with women.
Yes.
From my understanding. And so that seems like it's the same for that type of content creator. There's definitely a very large financial risk. It's just strange to me because I think that nobody still in HoloLive or Holo Stars has really cultivated that kind of a community, particularly on purpose. So
Not since
anyway.
Rusia.
That not since Rusia, yes, that was the one. But
who remembers the great Vox date freak out of 2023?
Yeah.
Or 2? I don't remember what day it was. But
Yeah, I think there is a lot of fans of VTubers, especially like the ones part of HCs like HoloLive or some of the more like ones like VLR, like that are very driven more to the act the talent puts on to an extent. And I don't necessarily think the people that are like these, like the unicorns, for example, aren't necessarily deluded to think they are going to have relationships with like these streamers, or they're not, or they're like having relationships or doing things they disapprove of off stream. Like obviously, they probably think they do, but like I think they have the out of sight, out of mind sort of idea when they're engaging with the content. So they really don't want to like see like a male stream with like a a female streamer. So like it kind of, as long as they're not like getting that kind of stuff up front to them, they kind of don't necessarily care too much. But when they're faced with like that reality on stream, they're kind of like bothered by it. I think it's really weird. I've interacted with like a couple of the people. I was gonna do a video on Yuko Urei, and so I was talking to a lot of her really, really parasocial fans who felt betrayed when she stopped doing that kind of GFE content. And let me like they really felt like they didn't have like a delusion that they were like going to be like part of some harem or something, but they like felt like really betrayed that like she would stop doing this content, as if they felt like she was like betraying the act that she was doing all that time. It's weird.
Yeah. Don't worry, Kenny.
Sure
I'm making another video.
They lost it.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
boy, girl, boy, girl party.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It's like it's more. It's not an official thing, and well, I guess that's how all idols work. There's not usually like an official ban on like even dating or any of that, but they always kind of downplay it because they're worried about freaking out the fans. It's a little
Yeah,
more vague with the cover, just because they have more. Well, with Holo Stars in particular, I think they couldn't ever quite decide firmly what lane they were in, if they were going for like an idol. They kind of say they're doing idols, but then they don't really. They're also just kind of like gamer, you know, content men. Ironically, they're a bit more reminiscent of like, well, Niji En, I guess. Like, well, how what Niji En was supposed to be. They became Niji En the White.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think there's many agencies that have like a strict ban. I think the only one that comes to mind is VLur, that has like actual like strict company ban on like doing those kind of like male collaboration streams. That's the only one that comes to mind for that. And they're like a
Yeah.
pretty like focused like on that kind of content, so it kind of makes sense, I guess, in that regard.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I guess, more of a moray than a rule.
Yeah.
A moray eel hides in a cave, comes out and gets you.
So true,
And
Ocus.
plenty of
don't love
content
that,
creators
even
have got
though
bit.
that's a moray.
That's a moray, just like that song.
That's a more.
I chose the right people for this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, do you believe a cultural ban exists, and what is the root of it?
Sure. Oh yeah. The fans. You gotta worry about the fans. Most of them don't care, but the ones that do care, oh boy, they care a whole lot. It's kind of, you know what? It's the new Coke principle. It's like most people actually liked the flavor of new Coke, but the ones that didn't, they literally started a movement. They started a movement to get rid of that. Bring back the old Coke. It was my girlfriend. I love her.
I have a parasocial relationship with New Coke.
She had eyes only for me, and he ruined it.
Gosh. Okay.
Blink twice
On
and
the
stay
same,
safe.
in the same vein, though,
Mm-hmm.
would you think it's fair to say that since we've brought up idol culture, do you feel like the Japanese audience has more of that cultural taboo because they're closer to idol culture in general than the English audience?
I would say so.
Of
Yeah. It always
also
seems,
think so.
especially in cover, it just seems like Indonesia and EN have a way easier time intermingling.
I would say so, yeah.
Although, I mean, I say that, but you know, the examples I brought up with Hollow Salt, there was definitely some very vocal people about that, and that's pure EN, right? That was pure,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
Myth and Council and you know, Stars Gen 1. So like, it's certainly not lacking here, and I think maybe it's that the same parasocial cause is here,
Mm.
even if it's maybe not attributed in the exact same circumstances. But I think there's more of a culture around it, perhaps in Japan, around the idol culture, but the like sentiment is still very much here.
It's
Yeah.
there. It feels like it's a bit more cordoned off, though. Like there's more of a boundary between the general audience and the unicorns, and that boundary is called 4chan. But yeah.
Yeah, I think there is definitely like a lot of like backlash whenever like people like see unicorns, and there's like a general sentiment of like dislike for them, like particularly. So like, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily as strong as it is on the JP side.
I do think that it's kind of interesting. It seems like, I know that the women get it quite a bit, but I feel like the stars, it's like they get the most of the vitriol, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like they'll
Mhm.
complain to the women, but it's like, but they hate the men. You know what I mean? It's like they
Yeah.
hate the men, and then they're like unhappy with the women for collabing with the men, but like not so much necessarily that they'll stop watching altogether, but
Right.
it's like the amount of hate comments I've seen towards some of the ones that especially do collab more with ID, you know, that I'm just like, man, yeah, I don't know.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I genuinely think that Cover has made an interesting audience where we have unicorns a lot more in the female audience than the male audience. Because Holo Stars, I feel like they can collab with girls no problem. But then if Holo Live collabs with a guy, even in a song or even outside of like Cover, it's all over. And I wonder if it has to do with the framing, marketing, or just simply idol culture. That's something that I would love to explore more in this video, because the last thing I want to say is like, it's the women's fault. You know?
I don't think it's any of the women's fault.
I don't think
Like,
it's any women's fault.
I don't think any of these women are, and not to say that it's the fault, but as we were sort of talking about earlier, there are certain types of content that very much are focusing on this type of fan. And so it's less surprising if you have that type of content that you have a fan base that reflects that. But I don't think any of the women in HoloLive cultivate that.
Yeah.
So it's like
some of them actively subvert it, like deliberately.
100%. I mean, I think a lot of them, and even the ones that don't really collab with men, are not like, oh, I hate men. You know what I mean?
They're just neutral on it.
They just do their thing. Yeah, they do their thing in their own lane.
Yeah. I think from the beginning, like Callie was kind of the big like, whatever, I'm doing what I want, you know. Even if the general not trajectory, like the general, like the general inertia was, well, it's an idol thing. Presumption is, you know, idol style, and but there was always kind of like an active like push against like, we're doing it this weird way. Hey, like me now. I remember like early on, I think it was really early on, was like Callie and Rika did this big collab stream where they sang just like acoustic covers all day.
Yeah,
one of my favorite streams. I would have bought.
They also released a cover of Spiral Tones, and I think that those went hand in hand.
Now you're unlocking core memories.
I'm a Holo Stars fan. I keep these landmarks in my head.
There's been enough years that there's like, do we have nostalgia for eras of VTubing? How do you like that?
How do you like the fact that I started VTubing as a 19-year-old and now I'm 26, guys?
Wait, when did I start?
I don't like that at all.
I think I did start around 19, 19 or like 18, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Callie, this is the Memento Mori podcast.
Okay. So yeah, I think we've talked enough about the taboo now. Does anyone have anything else to say though?
I thought you were going to say about the inexorable approach of death.
Oh my god. Okay, this is the one I'm actually the most curious on, because I need to wrap my head around what I would even do, because I'm a VTuber manager. I'm always interested in like these management questions. So if you were in charge of structuring the HoloLive and Holo Stars branches, what changes would you make? Would you continue to allocate the funds to Holo Stars?
Well, what I should do and what a successful businessman should do might not have a lot of overlap, but like it's actually something I've thought about a long time, because I've been like thinking about the plight of Holo Stars, and it's like I always thought they had to choose firmly one direction or the other to go. Like, are they a male idol group and like that we're just gonna go with that like full-fledged, or like do the exact opposite and just ditch the idol pretense entirely? And I guess like if they go idol mode, then that's basically that'd be like the whole 9 yards, like boyfriend experience-y type content, and more lean into the parasocial, and probably more or less stop collabing with the girls entirely. And I can see why they don't want to do that, because you're kind of playing with fire in a couple ways, right? Like you're gonna have the crazier fans, and And not to mention, I think they'd probably like at this point they'd probably lose people. Like I
Yeah.
bet a lot of the existing stars wouldn't be as happy doing that, so they'd probably graduate and get replaced. And not to mention any Vox Akumas or names, but if you're hiring people based specifically, I would say especially men. Just guess if you're hiring men that are specifically good at saying susurrous sexy somethings to women on the internet, you have you have a higher chance. You have a chance of some kind of nonsense taking place behind the scenes. You know, you gotta have a ticking PR time bomb. But
And
Yeah.
yes, we are filming this after recent news events.
Yeah.
insert
I
whatever news story you think we're talking about here. Comment below.
Get in
Yeah.
the comments.
Whichever,
I mean,
yeah.
For my background of like doing like marketing and like business studies and also doing like recent management work with VTubers, I think it would honestly, it's kind of a difficult question, but like I think HoloStars is a bit of a difficult pitch to like their audience, which has historically, been very male centric in that regard. And I don't think this audience is really adverse to watching male content creators, but I think that the ones that do watch them likely offer different vibes, value, and experience in that of like the typical HoloLive girl. So I think you would have to like probably sway, if you want to go with the HoloStars branch, if I was in charge, would be swaying away from that sort of performance and idol-like elements that are typically expected of like any HoloLive talent, right? Like there's VTubers that are male, like Kenji, Shizu, and others that kind of define their own lane that isn't really typical of like what you see in like HoloLive,
Yeah, that would be that's the alternate path. Like which way Western VTubers, if they get rid of the idol concept entirely, that probably, which is maybe arguably what they're kind of de facto doing, because they're not gonna have them do concerts and stuff like
Right.
that anymore. So maybe, and the Holo Stars are kind of on their unhinged arc now. So yeah, if you just like, okay, we're not idols, period, and we're just gonna do crazy whatever, we're gonna do whatever we want. At that point, maybe you could. At that point, maybe like Holo Stars wouldn't even have to proceed as a male branch per se. Like it itself could be just co-ed, and it would basically be just the non-idol side of Cover, if Cover decides they want a non-idol side, and that might be the predicament,
Yeah, didn't they have like initially, I think HoloLive Gamers was meant to be more of like a focused gamer branch than the idol side.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
But eventually they got
alternate
folded in.
timeline. Yeah, with like male members of HoloLive Gamers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think sort of like how you started it out, what I would prefer versus what I would do responsibly. My preference would be more like the Holo Salt era, where they can be unhinged in themselves, and like some of the craziest clips came out of that era, which was incredibly fun, and that's very much to my preference. However, I recognize that they don't want to shoot their golden goose that is their current incarnation of they don't want to shoot.
The male VTubers are disappearing.
Oh no, we're going extinct. Hello?
Seems to be working now, I think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like they don't want to shoot their golden goose that they know is working, where HoloLive, the women's division, is very idol centric, even though they do non-idol activities, but there's a huge focus on concerts and on, that kind of thing. Then if we're taking that as a given, what I would do, I think, is I would personally treat them as a full experiment, because I think that everybody can kind of admit that they are living in a really awkward in-between zone where they're not really getting the support or company resources to be a full idol unit. And also I think that a lot of the stars, that's not really their passion. I know that in HoloLive, a lot of the women that got into it had huge passions on, dancing, on singing, on rapping, on just various performing arts. And I think that some of the men do. Like Haka obviously has a huge passion for singing, but I think that most of them don't. And, or at least like they're okay with it, but it's not necessarily their one true passion to do. But the problem is they're still being held down by very strict corporate rules and very strict permissions and very not being allowed to take risks. And I think that it was Altair that was talking about how he had tons and tons of just like interesting, wacky project ideas that got shot down, tons of things that were cost saving, with regard to music licensing for third party entities and stuff like that. And they just said no. And that makes sense if you are an idol music corporation to say we want to retain all of the control of everything. But if you're at the point where the HoloStars are getting cut, basically all of your resources, I would say just treat it as the ultimate experiment, and maybe you'll find a completely new audience segment. But you can't put them under the same restrictions but not give them the same support and expect them to flourish. And so I guess what I would do is I would like unleash them. The era that they're in right now, I would just encourage. They went viral more times in the past week than I can remember.
Yeah.
A man got popular rinsing a pineapple. This is no market research was ready for that. It was, I mean, like back in the first Holostar I ever remember like just organically blowing up was Roberu with the Winning Sun arc.
Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, I thought that's what Holostars was just like funny men, and then I kind of picked up on the marketing that they're male idols. I'm like, oh, really?
Well, I would argue that is what they are, but that's not how they're being marketed.
They are funny men, but they're sold as an idol unit, and that always felt like kind of the square peg in the orbital socket,
And I want to like just call to everyone's memory that it seems like that's why Magni and Vesper left HoloStars. At least from my perspective, it seems that they had ideas that just did not fit with cover.
Yeah, the Escape from the City cover summarized the style, I think, and it wasn't quite. I could see there was friction. I can imagine.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's really tough to read in exactly what it is, because obviously Vesper had several clashes with management. So there was clearly tension there. And I know that without mentioning past lives, the past life of Magni has expressed that he felt like he gave it his all and was asked impossible things and just couldn't keep doing it. And I suspect that it's a combination of like, hey, you guys are on your own, but also you have all these restrictions you have to live under. And, without getting too specific, I believe both of them live in fairly expensive cities in America. So if they're not making very much money and they're under all these restrictions and they have experience with content creation in the past that was providing a better, more sustainable model, and if they were being asked to do an amount of work that would prevent them from even like having a second job if they needed it, which like it sounds like a lot of the stars have a second job, like something's got to give. And I would imagine that they basically, when contracts came up, that they said, listen, we've got to change at least some of these things, and probably got told no. And then they go, okay, well, no bet. You're like, I guess, but it's really hard to say like exactly where the breakdown was there, because obviously nobody can talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
oh, sorry. I was gonna say, it's like with their experimental phase. I mean, like, because anything can work, as we've seen. You can solidify your brand as the pineapple rinser, but the whole it's not that like the parasocial and like the quasi dating, I don't know what to call it, the girlfriend experience, that stuff. It's like that's not automatically the way it has to work, but that's like the only way that's like known to work regardless, you know what I mean? Like ever since the Venus of Windsor, sex has been the only, making beautiful ladies out of works of artifice has been the only inelastic demand in human history. Everything else comes and goes.
How did we get here?
I don't know. You invited Okas.
Listen, sex and VTubing goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, okay?
I can't wait for the video essay on this.
So I can't wait for
Yeah,
Google Doc on
What
this.
is a marble sculpture if not a VTuber avatar for an unseen god?
I can't wait for the video sex and VTubing, and it starts off with ancient Greece.
The year is 1000 AD.
Oshis are kind of like Shinto, like local gods, you know.
True.
Esoteric. We got kind of like a Pythagorean cult over some of the stuff, you know.
Oh my god.
Okay, you know what? You guys are making it so that the uncut interview is going on the second channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need a copy of this uncut interview, please.
Uncut interview will be put on the second channel at this
Release
point.
the
'cause-
Hey,
I'll
that's a
definitely
great
get a
name for a
clip it.
VTuber, a male VTuber interview.
The uncut interview.
No comments. No comments.
Not my say so.
I'm having fun.
Listen, I've never been
But
say so. I could never.
No, it's fine. But genuinely, I do want to comment on what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
And that is just like Holo Stars. Some of them are very good at idol activities, but at least on the EN side, we have so many amazing guys who are being marketed like idols who would benefit from a different environment entirely. And I genuinely believe that. And if I don't care about like mentioning past lives, I think that specifically like in this case Magni and Vesper have been thriving outside of cover in a way that I don't think they would have thrived within cover. Some of the opportunities and the collabs and the content, like we don't just talk about like the value of content within views here on my channel. The value of your content is genuinely in like what you get to create, and I think that they've been able to create more for themselves outside of Hololive than within Hololive. And I think that is just kind of a little bit of something to think about, of like maybe Holo Stars itself, at least on the English side, is holding some of the stars back. But on the JP side, the indie VTuber sphere is not as developed. It's still very corpo is king over in Japan. It's a different beast in the US, which I find very, very interesting.
Ironically, in the West, in the indie world, there's the recurring debate of whether female streamers have to do lewd content to survive.
Yeah.
That comes up every once in a while. This is a mirror image. It's like we get the whole Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Okay, are we good to move on to the next topic?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so my next question for you guys is, does this gender separation cover has with their two branches affect regular VTubers outside of cover in their daily indie activities?
I say no. Only very indirectly. There are obviously some people that don't want to collab with the opposite gender, but I think that that's usually more for personal reasons, or I mean there's some degree of like marketing reasons, and to an extent Hololive does set a standard of marketing, but I don't think that it's like, I don't think that the fact that Hololive is semi-segregated is the like the cause. I don't know. I don't think that that actually has that big of an effect on indies in that way. Like I think that if I was gonna say, like, I think if they had been able to push stars bigger, then that might have a positive effect of bringing in more fans of male VTubers into the VTubing scene. But like, I don't think that the separation is directly like having any huge effect on the indie scene.
Yeah, I don't think the company separation rule is typically the cause of it, but I definitely think there is a bit of like that sort of gender separation that kind of exists among some indies. Like, there's quite a few that like definitely won't want to collab with males for, I guess, like you said, it could be personal reasons, but I know some of them definitely don't do it. Like I've like at least 2 talent I've run into for management don't want to have like that like collaboration thing or even work with the male manager for reasons that are related to like how that might have appearances. That's something I've run into at least a couple times actually.
I'd say
Yeah, the
kind
whole
of just
meme
like
of all. Oh,
Yeah.
they're all dating. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sean don't tweet.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Just like the general, I mean, like I guess Hololive is the main like corpo in the West, and it did the idol thing. So a lot of people just assume those aren't idol rules; those are just VTuber rules, like just having a debut stream and graduating and all that other stuff. I don't know. I mean, yeah, some people don't do co-ed collabs, but I don't know if it's like because of the Hololive precedent per se.
Mm.
They just they've independently arrived at the same marketing conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay, let me break down my thought process for you guys and see if this changes your mind.
Okay.
Okay, so my thought process of this loaded question is specifically that I see a lot of my clients, they want to get into Hololive someday. And as such, they want to do parallel marketing to Hololive. And part of parallel marketing to Hololive is to then also follow similar activities to Hololive. And in a sense, sometimes I feel like, and I'm not talking about any of my current talents, just FYI, I've been a manager for a while. I promise to my talents, I'm not talking about you, okay? But sometimes what happens is a VTuber won't understand exactly what parts of Hololive branding are important to parallel, and they will, in fact, have that same decision to not interact with men because they think it's going to be bad for marketing because Hololive doesn't do it. So they're going to assume that it's bad for marketing. And that's kind of like a domino effect, right? Because then we have more female VTubers who say, I don't want to work with males in the sphere for marketing purposes. Of course, if they had a bad experience, that's a whole other thing, right? But like for marketing specifically, we've got more and more female VTubers who say, I don't want to work with males. And then the audience gets accustomed to, oh, there's plenty of female VTubers who don't want to work with males. So like, it almost feels like it perpetuates it. It perpetuates it within the audience because they, you know, they have this idea that the male VTubers aren't worth watching already, and then you've got a bunch of female VTubers who don't work with them, and it furthers the othering of male VTubers. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at in terms of like this affecting indie VTubers outside of cover. And then there's the other thing of like there's not a lot of visibility for male VTubers because no one wants to take a gamble on male VTubers. The smaller corpos don't open auditions for male VTubers, and when I ask them in my consultant work, I will often say, are you going to do male auditions? Because that's an important question for me to ask my clients. And sometimes I'll have them say, yeah, maybe down the line, but we need to have financial stability, and women bring financial stability.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
answer I run into as well. Actually.
Yes. Or
the Venus of Windsor, man.
They'll like, no, we're not going to do males because then we're like shooting ourselves in the foot if we open to male VTubers. That's the two answers I really get. And it just makes me wonder, like, where did this precedent come from? I think it came from Hololive. I can't say that for sure. We also have, like, you know, other corpos. Hunter, come on, buddy. Uh, but I think it came from Hololive and the way Cover handled Holo Stars.
Yeah, I think they take
Yeah.
an observation at like the larger agencies a lot, especially small agencies. They look to the larger ones for like what is working of a lot. Like that's a very common problem, I think, honestly, because they really try to copy the formula in a way
Right.
that like doesn't necessarily, without understanding really the why and even how to like, I don't know, execute it a lot of the time.
A lot
Exactly.
of superstition in this industry.
Like I have ran into like the same thing as Yam, like working with a small agency, and they do have the rule of like, oh, either maybe later down the line, but right now we want to be profitable, so we can't really do male VTubers. I've seen that, yeah, for sure.
And
It's
like talents aspiring to be in a big agency someday. I guess they might also be worried about the rats.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, people like dig into like their PLOs and then seeing that, like, oh, they collab with the male in the past. What's going on with that?
Skip the
Yes.
thing intensifies.
Yeah.
genuinely, I think that is a fear of a female VTuber who's looking to further their career in the trajectory of Cover, either parallel to Cover, meaning like they're independent but they run their stream as if they were in Hololive, or actually getting into Hololive itself.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation from how I think about it, because I think that the biggest influencing factor is what the existing audience that is known is, which is in many ways cultivated by the large companies like Hololive and Niji Sanji. But at the same time, you could also say that like what they found through their research and through their efforts was that this was the audience that was there and receptive, right? So is it
Yeah.
like, did they create the audience, or are they a reflection of the audience? And the answer is some of both. So I guess for me, I have a harder time laying it sort of at their feet. I'm sure there's probably some influence like you're describing, but I think that there's a lot of parallels in gaming in general and streaming in general, and things like that in the opposite direction about like the existing percentage of audiences and the types of content that they consume that has a very big impact on other companies or other creators getting into that business. So doing what the others two, what you guys were describing is like they're copying the same things that they have, proof that works. On Twitch, I mean, granted, Hololive is on YouTube, but on Twitch, last I saw, the gender breakdown was something like 70% male viewership or so. So like there is definitely a disproportionate representation of audience even in just the streaming sphere in general, and that's certainly not because of Hololive. So like I don't know, it's really difficult, but you're definitely right that there are like knockdown effects of certain talents wanting to not interact with male talents for that reason, and certain audiences that are like, well, this is just what it is. But I don't know, it's really complicated, I think.
It's so hard to know how much of my anecdotal evidence actually affects outside of my niche within a niche bubble, because the people I work with are already a sub niche within a niche. Like small VTuber agency land is so like it's an Ouroboros, really.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how much this applies to like greater Cover fans, because I'm sure if I went to like HoloFest, most people would have like just a like, oh yeah, I like when the funny Warden of Time does the funny thing on the stream, and they have no idea about like the VTuber iceberg depths of like, yes, this is how live 2D rigging works, and like all the stuff that I deal with on a daily basis. It's hard for me to put myself in the shoes of like an actual fan, because I've dug myself so deep,
A normal functioning human being. I remember those days.
I don't.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of like the early anime eras, where it wasn't nearly as ubiquitous as it is now in the West, where it's like there was a very small percentage of people in the West that would at least admit to watching anime, and most of them were men, and most of them were watching shows oriented at men. And there's very negative stereotypes. There used to be very negative stereotypes towards anime in general, and some of those still exist, but they're a lot lessened now as time has gone on. And I think that VTubing as a whole has a lot of those negative stereotypes in general.
Still,
And then
yeah.
the people that are into VTubing have a very strong gendered preference, much like the people that were into anime were predominantly one audience that like looked for one type of thing. And I think that that hurts us a lot more than just cover. Like, I think the fact that people look at VTubers and are like, you guys are weird, it's like the biggest barrier, to be perfectly honest.
I had the discussion with Rima earlier about this. Like, there's like people that will watch like someone like Kenji, and they'll be like, I hate VTubers, but I really like Kenji. He's one of the good ones that I really enjoy.
Mhm.
It's kind of like implies that like, yeah, it is kind of like the anime thing where it's like, oh, I only watch like, you know, Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really like a big anime fan, like how it was back in the day, where it was like
I'm not
kind
a
of
weeb, I only watch Attack on Titan.
right, like.
I mean, I remember when I first learned about VTubers, my initial reaction was like, "Ooh, is this like a sex pervert thing? I don't know. But then,
Why does your mind go there, Ocus? Every time, Ocus.
I mean,
funny doggo won me over though. It took a little time. I had to get the chuckles. Once a few chuckles lighted in my heart, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, these Hololive gamers, they're all right. Hey,
they're all right.
have confidence.
You're all right, kid.
No confidence.
No confidence.
Confidence. Bokum. Human is turtle. You know.
Yep.
All that stuff. Yeah. The Crone effect. Crone scrambled my brains.
I have an analogy, and depending on if you think it's a good analogy or not, I might put it in the video, but I've kind of thought of this like whole male VTuber thing versus female VTuber thing very similar to male versus female sports.
Oh, like the inverse.
Go
kind
on.
Of.
Yeah, go on.
So there's a problem in women's sports. And it's unfortunately that women's sports has less funding than male sports. And obviously, female athletes want to be paid the same as male athletes, but there's less money in women's sports because there's less spectators of women's sports. They have a harder time getting viewership and sponsorship for women's sports versus male sports.
Yeah, I've seen this discussion with like the NBA and the WNBA quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when Cover cut funding for Holo Stars, it reminded me of, you know, the whole women's sports issue of like, how do we get, you know, because here's the thing, we just have to accept that there are less women who watch sports. And so there are less women who watch women's sports, but there's also more men who watch male sports than women's sports. So I feel like it's kind of the same issue where it's hard to get men to support the Holo Stars because more of them watch Holo Live, because Holo Live appeals to men more than Holo Stars. Same thing with the sports thing where, you know, the audience for sports is mostly in the male sports because the men are watching sports for the competition and the power, and the women can't deliver on the competition and the power as much as the men. So you've got this problem. But I don't know how good that analogy actually lands.
The women's basketball team needs to start doing experimental stuff like rinsing pineapples.
Good conclusion.
Okay, so
true.
like, there's sort of an inverse of that going on here, and I don't have all of the statistics. This is somewhat from memory from hearing some professional men and women athletes talk about it. But
yeah,
I think you hit it on the head, which is that the biggest problem is that the audience isn't there, and so they are funded astronomically less. And like a lot of the time the compensation, from my understanding, I could be wrong, percentage wise is fairly similar. It's just that the percentage of a much smaller number is a much smaller end wage. But they're, you know, if they're say making 10%, then they, but like, and the same thing is honestly, unfortunately, seemingly true of cover valuing the men and the women, is that like, I'm sure they have the same revenue split. You know what I mean? Like the men and the women have the same revenue split. The women earn a shitload more money than the men in HoloLive, right? And so it's like, because of that, the funding isn't there for HoloStars. And I mean, I think, yeah, like in that way, it's like, it's just really difficult, and it's very difficult to attract the right audience for, or like to find the right audience, I guess I would say, because like they just don't seem to be treated equally, and you know.
And then we've got the problem of like, when you work in entertainment, and I'm so sorry to call sports entertainment, but it's entertainment. When you work in entertainment, you are beholden to the audience and the sponsors, like the viewership and the sponsors, very much just like streaming. Because, you know, maybe if Holo Stars, even if their viewership was lower, but they got like amazing sponsors who wanted to work with them, maybe it's okay. But sponsors want to work with the talents who bring in the most dough, so they're gonna look to HoloLive, not Holo Stars.
Yeah.
For more deals.
But then there's the event where, you know, Niji En launched an armada of dreamboats, and much like the conquistadors before them, colonized the Americas with them. How does that influence? Like, how do they do that?
Brother. That's wild. That is a wild analogy.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that was the BFE at work. In my analogy, the BFE is like silver, the silver standard. I don't know.
This is a whole can of worms, and I'm not going to get into it too much. But I will also say that Niji had a different audience when they launched Luxium too. Yeah. Niji's work culture is co-ed, so by default, they already had women in the audience more than Cover did. But the other thing is that no one talks about, which is really like writing on the wall to me, is that Niji has connections to Bilibili. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know if Bilibili owns them or if they like, but Niji has connections to Bilibili. They have a division of streamers who are Bilibili specific as well. And I attribute a lot of Luxium's success with actually Bilibili clips.
Is China less up on the idol culture?
China is way more into the male idols than the female idols.
Huh.
It's reversed there. Male idols do better in China than female idols do. If you look at the latest Otome game that is taking the world by storm, it originated from China. It's called Love and Deep Space.
I have that in my notes. Yeah. I've heard about it. I know the audience for that is extremely feral. Yeah, that's. I was gonna ask. Like, there's a market for that. Have they? Yeah. What's the crossover between?
There's a market for that, and that market is China.
All right.
Yeah.
The secret sauce.
So I would say that also has some factor into the male VTuber problem from the Niji Sanji versus Cover perspective, because Niji Sanji didn't pull out of China.
Yeah.
But Cover did. But that's a whole like can of worms I can't even get into, because like whether Cover was justified in pulling out is a whole other thing, you know.
Yeah.
But getting back on track,
arguably made for them.
That was like the first big drama I can remember, actually.
Yeah, because it was the first graduation out of Cover.
Yeah.
I mean,
the first
out of HoloLive, actually. Yeah. Holo
As long as
Stars
we're not
lost.
counting Hitomi Chris.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
that's
I'm
the
just making
uncut
deep cut
version now.
references, That's okay.
No, Kiss.
We're going to some dangerous
This
territory
is so
here.
good.
Take a shot every
Yeah,
time
this
Ian
is-
says no Ocus.
This is the scariest thing going on my second channel ever.
Aren't you
I was
glad
gonna
we're
say, are you
doing a
terrified that one of
pre-recording
us
and
is
not a live
accidentally
stream?
Yeah.
I've checked my own OBS like 3 times to make sure I'm not live.
That's why you put the warning on that pops up if you try and go live, and it's like,
Yeah.
please click this if you're sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I-
Thank you, Gry, for setting that up for me.
That
I
is,
definitely need to get
I
that,
didn't know it was an
actually.
option not to have that. That's horrifying. That's
The
Yeah.
default is not having
I
that.
Yeah,
have
mine.
gone-
Yeah, when I click the button, it just goes.
that's spooky. Maybe I set it up on day one and forgot about it, man. I don't remember a time I didn't have that helpful little pop up. Man, some VTubers
Okay.
really they fly by that. Like some people stream with monitor capture. Like what the?
Yeah,
How do
man,
you-
they
what?
never pull out.
How do you do that? I'd be too anxious to say anything.
The number of
Okay.
VTubers that stream with desktop capture and full desktop audio is painful. It scares me.
Yeah.
OPSEC.
Ha 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 ha.
They don't know what
I-
that means.
I use desktop audio, but I don't think I use desktop window. I'm too scared for that. Yeah.
I only use desktop audio if nothing else is capturing the game
If it's
sound.
not working at
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Colonel, this guy's using desktop capture.
Get him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yam, did you?
Okay, let's take 5
Okay.
for a bathroom break, and then let's go back to the last 4 questions. Okay.
The
Okay.
last
There's 4
four.
more questions.
The Shitano.
Speaking of boomer trivia, do you know the whole like Keck W expression? Do you know where that comes from?
You told me this,
Korea?
Gray.
Actually, don't.
Yep. Well, the W is because it's wide. It's like Keck wide because the image that's used is like stretched sideways to make his face look wider. And the Keck comes because in old WoW, they made it so that when Alliance and Horde see each other in all chat, their words are like ciphered in the all chat. And so when somebody would type LOL, it would translate as KEK. And so they would like see each other in World of Warcraft typing Keck because they were actually typing LOL but across factions. And so
Oh,
that's
I
where
thought it
Keck
was
W
like
came from.
I didn't know. I thought it was a mix of like the Korean and Japanese ways of writing LOL.
I believe that is the reason that World of Warcraft used Keck as like the letter cipher.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe
The
so. Like
culture is
that was the
tesseracting in on itself.
original, but like the direct translation
I see.
of LOL to Keck. Yeah.
I just checked. It's insane how many like Keck W emojis I have. Oh my god. I'm gonna share this. This is actually insane. It goes on longer, by the way.
You
have you ever
enough
watched
keks
the
to-
original like interview?
Yeah, I have.
It's so funny. I miss those memes so bad where people would re-subtitle it. Those were so funny.
I have so many. Oh my god.
You could build a whole kek chair out of those.
Bobby?
Okay. All right, getting back to.
Are we back? I thought. Oh, we're back. Hi.
No,
hi.
oh,
Hi.
that's it.
Oh, we're live. Oh, good thing it's not live. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. Are we still recording, Gray?
Oh yeah, we're still recording.
it's better
Yeah.
than
Okay, me
having no
too.
chair
Okay,
at
cool,
all. Is
cool,
all I'm
cool.
saying.
My gosh. Okay, let me get the laughs out of my voice because this is a serious video essay.
Yes,
You
yes.
haven't even mentioned my favorite Sonic character yet.
No, that's for after. Okay.
Different. We'll have a different talk. We'll come back later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about to give advice to male VTubers, and
Oh.
I think you guys have a good perspective because you guys are male VTubers, you know.
I'm in my VTweeter arc, but yeah, sure.
Oh, guy.
Okay, here we go. What advice would you give to men who want to create content using a VTuber model?
My advice is for everyone, but I would say especially for men, because I think that we tend to do a little bit less of this, it seems like, which is to do market research into what the current trends are for male VTuber designs. Don't just pick something that you like the look of personally, because then you might converge on a male anime character with purple hair and purple as the main color of your outfit wearing tech wear. And let me tell you, there's a lot of those. I'm not speaking from experience whatsoever. Trust me, I definitely did a lot of research beforehand. But seriously, this applies to both, obviously. Like, I think you would have a very hard time if you were just a pink anime cat girl as a VTuber, and that, like, as your design wearing comfy clothes or something like that. That doesn't mean you can't be a cat girl or have pink hair, but if you're just sort of pink hair, comfy clothes, cat girl, you're not going to stand out whatsoever. And so the same is true for male VTubers, is like, see if there's a lot of people that look really similar to you, because it's already hard to stand out. And if you are another one of that same trend, it's going to be even harder, not even including all of the other things that we've been talking about culturally. So that's my main piece of advice.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky in the sense that I bought like the design, and it does kind of mismatch me doing serious commentary with this model, but it works.
At the same time, listen to your heart.
Yeah.
Because when I was created, a lot of the big male VTubers I saw were just like gentlemanly butler and kind of like standard issue dreamboats. I'm like, that's all fine, but somehow I don't think I'd be good at that. I don't think I'd pull off the deep voiced like stentorian host guy very good. It'd be weird if I looked like a suit monocle wearing vampire and just said the things I say and do the things I do. It'd be a mismatch. So I went with Kimono Mimi because I love the HoloLive gamer so much.
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, okay, just on a design a little bit, I can't help but add something for male VTuber design, because most of my clients are male VTuber who want a design from me. I agree with Gry on the sense that everyone accidentally stumbles on the same exact like neon with the tech wear. But I also argue part of this is anime's fault, because I feel like generally female protagonists in anime get way cooler design than male protagonists in anime. That's just like kind of like, if you think of like Violet Evergarden, every single woman, amazing character design, and then the guys are just kind of like in peasant wear. Like it's just
they just look like Kirito from Sword Art Online,
Oh, the amount of Kiritos I have helped bring into the world. It's either Kirito or Catboy or Kirito Catboy. I love all of my clients, but I'm telling you, I'm.
Kazuma from Blaze Blue.
No, yes. Konosuba.
Konosuba.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Blaze Blue too.
Hey, same brain cell.
I do
actually
think...
fight.
Oh, I was gonna say, one of the things that's a little annoying is I think there's probably a lot of male VTubers that would love to be super armored or mecha, and those are things that riggers and artists hate, which is also a different problem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine all of that armor live 2D. You're gonna give me nightmares.
At least you could probably cover up the mouth. That'd be nice.
Yeah, no tracking. Easy.
Yeah. You were special.
Okay.
You can just have the mouth be affecting other things. Like, there is a lot of cool stuff you could do in that space, and I have seen a couple of those, but I mean, I don't think we touched anywhere in here on how difficult it is to get a male model. Like, it's hard to get a male model in the first place. There's like so many fewer artists that are willing or comfortable to do male models, and the same with the riggers. There's just partly because there's less demand and there's fewer men that seem willing to spend a large amount of money, and because there is a consistent client base for female models that are going to spend a lot. There's a lot of artists and riggers that have had a lot of practice in those body shapes and body movements, and it's a lot harder to find a good male model artist and rigger, or just find one at all, let alone a good one. And so then exacerbating on top of that, the like, if you want something that's really out of the ordinary, like not just not woman, but like something crazy, it's hard to find people that are comfortable committing to doing that with, you know, things that are often, you know, can be very expensive. So
getting through the whole model and then like skipping the whole XY jiggle physics part is probably throwing people off. It's like muscle memory, you know. It's like, wait a minute, I don't have all these deformers. What do I do with them?
Yeah, just give like the armor packs like some like bounce to them, I guess.
I know, I just did my own guy.
yeah.
Hilariously, I have tried to specifically retire from model making several times, but I primarily take male clients, and I have people who come to me because they literally cannot find artists who want to execute their ideas. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm like never gonna retire, because there's so many, you know, male VTubers who, you know, they either want to be a slime, they want something unconventional, and they literally cannot find an artist who is willing to do what I consider to be very basic things for them.
Right.
So it just, I get more males in my portfolio, and then when you like look at my VGen portfolio, it's all male VTubers, so people just assume that's my specialty. I've only had one female client who only came to me because she was a friend. I've never had like a female client come out of the blue, look at my portfolio and go like, yeah, this artist. I've only had males who are like, oh, she does males. Thank the Lord, you know?
You've got males. That's a boomer joke.
I can't. Ocus, inviting Ocus was either a genius move or a mistake, and I can't tell which one it is.
I'm sure the second channel will enjoy. People will enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Moving on beyond models, though, what other advice do we have to give men who want to create content using a VTuber model?
Yeah, I think generally like going to like the market research can extend as well to the content, because I feel like a lot of male VTubers kind of fall into the trap of just like thinking they can just do gaming and chatting, and this kind of applies to female VTubers as well, but I've noticed that tends to be the case a much more for them as well. Like, they don't necessarily have an idea beyond, I just want to stream with a male model and just kind of do whatever. And that's kind of just like what they're working with, really. It's kind of, I feel like they need to like have like a bit of like an idea of what they want to do beyond just like, I want to stream. They need like an angle, maybe like a sort of kind of niche they want to fall into. Even with like short form content, you kind of have to have an idea of what you want to have your appeal be, right? And I feel like thinking about that more is probably the advice I would give to like male VTubers in that regard.
I agree. I think when managing like male clients, female clients, I've noticed that the female clients, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I'm going the HoloLive angle, which means I have a variety of content. It means I sing, I dance, I do, you know, Zatsus, and I play games. But I do see a pattern with male clients where they're just like, I am really good at this very specific game, and I want to be, you know, like amazing at this specific game. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic, but can we make like other content at least surrounding it? Can we make videos surrounding the game? Because unfortunately, unless you are the top of the top, silently streaming and locking in without engaging with your audience is not going to grow you. And I hate that, because I can tell that they have so much passion for this very specific game, but unless you can also be charismatic while you're locked in, it's not going to work out for you, you know?
Yep. I'm probably top 5% of the world in Toe Jam and Earl and Panic on Funkatron, and let me tell you, didn't get me anywhere.
Yeah.
What about Earthworm Jim though? Like,
Yeah, there's a big market for that one.
Too toxic. The community is far too competitive.
I can't.
I got into shorts and video essays. That helped a lot. So
Weirdly, they seem to like it when you call them worms, but
but the people who play
See,
worms don't. They hate that.
That's the other thing. I feel like male VTubers, from my perspective as the viewer, you guys, why aren't there any like comedian male VTubers that make comedy their niche specifically? That's insane to me because, you know, like I have so many like comedy YouTubers that I follow, and in terms of like VTuber models, you could do so much with VTuber model to enhance the comedy aspect of things. Like, I don't
mind for that.
Yeah. Thank you for saying Kenji, because I was gonna say Fillion, and that has some connotations.
She's on an ARG kick, though.
So, yeah, I mean, get creative with your content outside of just the one game on Twitch angle and never making videos out of it, you know?
There are so many literal clown VTubers.
And at the time of filming, I do have to say that we're kind of in the desert when it comes to virality through clips, and we're moving into the story time edited content doing better than like live stream clips, especially of like you know, like VTubers. I think specifically if you're trying to get the VTuber audience, stream clips aren't the way to go currently.
I don't know if you've run into this, like this kind of aside, but like for management, is it me or is it really hard to push the streamers to want to do storytime content compared to like live stream clips?
It is hard. It's because no one knows how to talk about themselves. I'm sorry.
There's so much hesitancy to do it. I'm like, this works. Like,
all of my best clips are just me doing story time while I'm playing a game.
Yeah, like
if you can do that, great. But a lot of people can't do that. I can't do that, but you can. So like, more power to you. Then you get the best of both worlds. But unless you can keep your thought going while you're playing a game, that's not for everyone, you know?
Right.
Like,
I do think it's real. Okay, so one thing I will comment on, this isn't really advice, it's just something that I find difficulty with, is that it is often very hard to convert people to a stream audience from video or shorts. And especially, like, I think that a lot of the time, if you don't do like, okay, so if you are primarily a gameplay streamer, as in like gameplay and chatting, right? So like you chat while you yap while you play games, you know, you're not just like locked in silently or whatever. But if you like to do sort of like the HoloLive style of gaming content where you're talking to your chat and you're playing the game and like you're kind of a goofball. But if all of your content doesn't show you playing games, then I think a lot of the people that might be satisfied by your scripted content are like, well, I mean, I'm not really here to watch them do games. But the flip side of that is that most people also don't care about just game clips, right? And so you like, just if you scroll on a short and you just see somebody playing Overwatch and the person isn't doing anything interesting, that's also boring. And so it's really difficult in my estimation to like convert that audience to the type of streams that a lot of people want to be doing.
Right.
Because they are just different audiences. The people that will watch a long documentary on something aren't necessarily going to care about you playing Hollow Knight unless your documentary was on Hollow Knight. You know, but like I think that is part of the challenge of the allure of streaming is a freeform, unscripted, like dynamic conversation, both when you're collaborating with others like this, but also when your chat comes in and having this sort of live environment. But there's a lot of people that don't actually like that, and it's very difficult to reach the people that do want that experience if your goal is to grow your streaming. And like I don't really have a I don't really have a suggestion for that, but it's something to be aware of because it's very difficult.
Yeah, that's valid.
That's a fantastic point, honestly. Very well put. And I think that honestly, this is a whole other can of worms, but I think that VTubers are way too in love with streaming to grow a lot of the time. They like live on the stream energy, and then when it comes to making the content around streaming, they are kind of lost because
Completely agree. Yeah.
I think if you look outside the VTuber audience, like if you look at a lot of creators, they stream on Twitch, but that's more of like their 25% content, and then the like YouTube is the 75% of content. But the majority of VTubers are the flip-flopped. The majority of VTubers are the 75% is streaming, the 25% is videos. Just an observation.
I mean,
I'm
the
not
observation
saying
is kind of so true that the video VTubers place gotta exist.
it's so true that Kenny disappeared. It killed Kenny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like like video VTubers were like very rare, honestly, and I think it's definitely like really untapped with the kind of things you could really do with that format. But yeah, like you said, a lot of them just kind of they're very attuned to the stream energy, but don't really like the production element of making videos.
Making videos is a colossal pain in the ass.
So true. Very true, though.
That's my advice.
That is so true. This VOD is becoming a VOD instead of an interview, and now I'm gonna have to edit it.
When you trim your hour and a half long VOD down to the 45 seconds of usable footage, it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
I do find that deeply frustrating that I think that is part of why HoloLive has been so successful, is that they have really leveraged YouTube for streaming in a way that is very difficult to capture, because I think there's an unfortunate truth that it's like, if you want to be a YouTuber, learn how to make videos. If you want to be a streamer, learn how to make videos. Like, it's super frustrating that like the YouTube is the only path to people who do or don't want to do YouTube. It's like YouTube is also one of the best marketing tools for just any kind of marketing. Like, you want to write a book, learn YouTube. Like, it's super annoying that we basically have to use YouTube as our like primary method of algorithms paying attention to us. And like, there's plenty of people that make YouTube videos that would never, ever, ever want to live stream. And there's a lot of live streamers who really don't have an interest or a passion in like making a very well scripted story for YouTube. And it's just the unfortunate truth that you have to if you want to be found as a streamer. And it feels sort of like that shouldn't be the case, but that's just the state that we're currently in. And so I find that very frustrating as somebody who
or hire people
on TikTok.
No, TikTok's dying, Okus.
Oh, good.
Male VTubers watching this, don't start on TikTok, please. Thanks.
I feel like it's actually doing okay. It's doing worse, but I think it's still pretty like good to go.
Okay, I guess we'll have to compare notes, Kenny, because I have not helped anyone get good and big on TikTok.
I've seen a couple, but yeah, it's definitely like dwindling for a lot of people, I would say.
Come back for episode 2 where we talk about TikTok.
But that being said, I also think that HoloLive's success was just, again, kind of like a perfect storm of pandemic, because pandemic streaming was a different thing.
The market was insane. If you got in, it was pretty good.
And it's not to say that it was because, oh, now that wouldn't work anymore, but it was because legitimately, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like there was a feeling of like, I don't even want to click on a 20-minute YouTube video because then it's going to end in 20 minutes, whereas I could just turn on a stream and someone could be with me all day. That was the vibes. That's how I fell down the freaking Tsukumo Sana rabbit hole so hard. It was just like, I needed long VODs.
Nowadays watching VODs is very difficult, but back then I would like just like put on like one Peek at Me stream after another. It was like, it was nothing.
Right, because we had nothing to do.
Yeah.
We had nothing to do. We needed like stream VODs. So I feel like that's part of the reason why it did so much better when Hololive was taking off, was just like everyone needed live streams, whereas now everyone's like back to the grind, but not only just to the grind of one full-time job, it's like a full-time job and a side hustle ever since people came back from the pandemic. So it's just like I need like I've got 15 minutes on my break, you know, that kind of content is making a return.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe, but there was a time where the general vibe of VTuber social media was optimistic and excited.
What a
and
time.
hopeful.
Oh,
I was
man.
looking forward to things.
Oh man, stop making me nostalgic for those days, okay?
The good old days.
The youngsters
really
have
was.
to know.
The world was on fire, but VTuber Twitter was like sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshine and lollipops.
There's an inverse
Truly.
relationship. Yeah.
Literally,
I
my
mean,
first two like VTuber videos are like debut memes and like, oh my god, yes, we're celebrating Christmas with Hollow Live streamers, and then like you look at it now, it's the drama of how bad like it's gotten.
And this might make the cut, but I want to say, I'm pretty sure there was less drama about men becoming VTubers back then than there is now.
Yeah, I would say so.
So strange. Maybe
Everything
because
was
they
on the
couldn't touch
table,
Hololive.
Yeah, I think it
Maybe
was very, I
because
think it was
they
very
couldn't.
emerging that like, yeah, it was kind of like there was just like less. I wouldn't say standards, but like, yeah, there was less expectations and overall with like the medium, I would say.
That's true. There was a lot less rules, but there was a lot more rules at the same time. Like
Yeah.
posting your face was a no.
Yeah.
Past lives in general, yeah.
Yeah. No flesh, people. Like it's fine to be a guy, but don't post your face.
You can put your hands, but they better
I was
be
gonna say,
wearing
you can
gloves.
post those hands and those veiny forearms.
Yeah.
Uh, you should
I-
talk to the lads, girlies. They'd love you, Gry.
I know. I speak their language fluently. That's a second language, though. I'm
This is so unhinged.
BLSL. you
Yeah.
know?
I'm not gonna ask what that means.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know
BL
either.
as a second language, like ESL, but
Oh
BL is.
my gosh.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
Sounds like a
be- you-
delicious sandwich. Maybe it is.
Okay.
Okay, lock in, boys. Lock the fuck in.
Lock it.
This is why male
Any
VTubers
more?
are doomed. We can't lock the fuck in for
Yeah,
one
yeah.
interview.
We're hydroplaning,
so over.
hydroplaning.
Is there any more advice for male VTubers? Totally okay if not. We can
Lock
react
in.
to tweets. Lock in.
Da Vinci
Don't get
Resolve is
baited
free.
and don't be a weirdo.
Yeah. Don't get a 1 hour video on you, okay? Please.
Oh, okay.
Don't get a Google
Actually,
Doc.
that's a point. Okay. There's been some advice about like you just need to do like the same thing as the girls. Like you're just not trying hard enough. You just need to do the same thing as the girls. You need to be flirty. You need to make the sexy content. And I would argue like
Where'd you
unless
hear
you
that?
know what you're doing really well, don't do that because you might come off as more of a creep than anything. Like that is part of like men doing content creation. You have to be really aware of that. And I hate to say that because it is such a double standard, but I do really want to emphasize that like unless you know what you're doing, I highly recommend you actually don't touch that content.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's a big difference between having games and having game. And I only
True.
have games on my
What?
phone.
So true.
I think that the advice is sort of just pointless or missing the point because I
Mhm.
think first of all, there's a huge number of female VTubers that don't do that kind of content that are very successful. And so being like, well, you're just not doing that and that's why you're not successful. It's like, well, plenty of women don't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, right? So like that's already sort of out. But second of all, it's very much like if any creator says, you know, like I want to grow as a gaming creator, but it's really hard to grow from scratch, factually true. Everyone knows this. It is very, 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 very difficult to grow from scratch, especially in a demographic or in a category as saturated as gaming. And if somebody's like, well, you just need to lock in and do ASMR, it's like, well, yes, ASMR can grow you a lot faster. That is correct, but that wasn't the parameters that were being complained about or frustrated about or desired. So you're like, it's like, I'm really having a hard time making it as a full-time VTuber. Have you considered getting a job? Like, yeah. But that's not what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So like it just makes me really roll my eyes that is such a go-to response, because it's just completely not addressing the frustrations, complaints, or challenges. It's just saying like, here's something completely different you could do. And like, well, yeah. Yeah,
it's like an artist. It's like an artist saying, "I want to get my work seen." They're like, "Well, why don't you just draw like the most popular series going on right now?" It's like,
right?
Yeah.
Or why don't you draw NSFW?
Yeah,
and,
I think it's even worse than that, because part of it is like art is still art. Like, you still get to do the drawing part at the end of the day. It's more like telling a pastry chef, like, pastry takes too long. Why don't you start, selling stir fry instead? Like, it's completely different techniques, completely different strengths, but people think of it as the same thing because it's both food at the end of the day, and they like pastry and they like stir fry, but like it's very different, like, technique wise.
You like making pizza? Why don't you just get one from like and put it in the oven, like a frozen pizza?
Oh, that's
now that's AI generative almost, AI. Oh, we're not touching AI. Oh,
my
okay.
generative AI pizza tastes just as good as your artisanal Sicilian pizza. Anyway.
Okay, I actually wrote down the take. I was like, oh, I saw this take on Twitter, but I actually wrote down the take so we can discuss it. So let me read it out, and I might like do some editing magic here. Okay. So I do have some takes that I've seen on Twitter that I'd love to get your guys' reaction on, just because I have my own thoughts, but I'd love to know from your guys' perspective. The first one is, male VTubers just need to be willing to do fan service like the female VTubers do. They just don't succeed because they aren't willing to do what it takes. Yes, I legitimately saw this on Twitter multiple times. This is real, and a lot of people are agreeing with it.
I take a lot of issue with like you aren't willing to do what it takes. That feels a little like a very weird way to say it.
Right? Very fuckface.
Yeah.
The problem with it is it implies, well, okay, there's a few problems with it, but let me start. Let's start. We're gonna be here all night. It implies that there's anything you can do that will guarantee success. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you just, the only reason you're not growing is because you're not doing this one thing. If you just did this, you would be bigger than Galgura by now. I'm like, well,
yeah, like I think of like imagine like saying this like a VTuber that's like Yam, okay, and then saying like you aren't willing to do what it takes.
Yeah, why aren't you doing only yams?
Yeah, like you're not doing like fan service.
Like where's the Yamsley when I need it? You know?
Yeah,
I need those only yams. Why aren't you doing what it takes? Like in your educational field. Yeah.
Like, you're only showing a little tummy yam. Come on, give us something.
Yeah, give us the
Harakiri stream. Damn.
It just feels like weird. I was like reading that. It's like,
if the roles are reversed, if you say this to a woman, it would not be okay. It would not be okay.
That was my answer as well. Is like, there are lots of women that I think justifiably complain, or at least are frustrated at the fact that like the top 100 streamers, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it's like 95% men in the top 100 streamers. And like, if you went to them and were like, yeah, that's because you're not taking your top off, just do what it takes. It's like, excuse you? Like, like the fact that the audience skew is heavily like pointed towards one demographic and one type of content is a fact that is frustrating to work around. And so when people are complaining about that, like, you're just completely sidestepping it. It's like, well, why aren't you doing political content? And you're like, well,
yeah,
like okay, whatever.
And it
that
kind
would
of
also
reminds
only
me.
work if you're trying to win in that particular niche. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It kind of reminds me of like the stories. I mean, I was born in 2000, so this doesn't really apply to me, but it reminds me of the stories of the early female nerds in spaces like Star Trek and places like that, where, or World of Warcraft, where, you know, instead of saying, oh, hey, let's make a space for women, it was like, no, let's force the women into the male mold, you know?
Yeah.
We should make space for more variety of people instead of telling the I hate to use the word minority demographic here, but in a sense, it is a minority demographic. Just tell them, oh, you know, you just need to try harder to fit into the mold that we expect from you. Okus's face just was like
I was gathering my thoughts with OUGHT. Come on.
Okay.
Gathering my thoughts, that's what I call it when I call up all my lady friends. You know what I mean? Am I right? Going on the unedited part. Oh yeah, let's go.
I was starting a VTuber agency in my mind. That's I was just a
Oh my god.
Well, like, okay, if you wanna do like Susurrus Whispers ASMR, and like go full like boyfriend experience, that's all fine and well. But then, like, if that's what you want to do, though, that you'd have to do that to compete in that particular area. But then, what if you just want to be like a Splatoon man? And then you're stuck whispering sweet nothings for the rest of time. You're not going to be able to switch back. It doesn't matter if you grow into the wrong thing. Like, even if you could, even the tall assumption, even if you could reliably grow big as an ASMR guy, that okay, but now you're going to be stuck as an ASMR guy for the rest of your life. It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
I mean, and that's just a general challenge and problem with the algorithms being the way that they are in general, is like pushing people to hyper fixate on one very specific thing and then doing it until you can't possibly stand it anymore. And it's like the idea of doing that on purpose with a content that you don't like is like such a recipe for disaster.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's like how real careers work. Why should we have to do that here too?
And you know, from my perspective, I'm the female watcher that, like, they're the mythical female watcher they're talking about. I watch male VTubers, and personally, I don't watch like sexualized content. The moment like I'm supposed to like be in love with the male, or like he's like flirting with me, I turn it off. Like, I can't. I am here for the funny guys, and that's exactly what Holo Stars are. I am the target demographic for Holo Stars. They appeal to me specifically. So when people are like, "Oh, well, if the Holo Stars just did fan service," then like my response to that is like, then they would have lost me. You know, like their audience. Like.
Yeah, I want you to promise me that you will put the clip of you saying, "I am the target audience. I like the funny boys and not the sexy boys," and then just overlay the X-Files, you know, like the UFO sighted, you know, the
Yeah, sure,
SCP.
sure. I am an SCP, I guess. It's so rare. Like, people can't even think that I might exist. Someone who, you know, genuinely likes the Holo Stars culture as it is and doesn't want it to change, you know?
I think this is a psyop. I don't know, guys.
I just want it to change to be more free. Like, you know what I mean? I want them to be themselves with fewer restrictions. Yeah.
Right.
I'm so sad of my Oshi just being sad a lot of the time, and him saying it's like work related, you know? Because we know, like, Regis Altair tries his heart out, and I absolutely love like when he gets to be himself with the boys, he's his happiest. And to see, you know, him trying so hard and then being like, nope, you know, denied for being himself and for his ideas. It's just like, imagine if that was happening to the women, and then they say, well, you weren't nerdy enough, sorry. Like, oh, you didn't do enough deep cut gaming stuff, you didn't play enough World of Warcraft. Like, it's a offensive. Like, I
Yeah,
take
it-
offense enough to make this monster of a video, you know?
You know how mad you have to be to invite Okas to a roundtable discussion? That's...
Or invite
I was-
Grybox to something you want to be done in any short amount of time.
I'm not gonna sleep, guys. This is gonna get edited, and I'm going to get this video out. Like, come heck or high water, this is coming out.
We got the least sexy guys we could find to make sure this is good and funny. I mean,
speak for
informative.
yourself. Look at my model.
Yeah, he's putting it
I'll
out.
show you a sexy VTuber. Give me a
Oh,
second.
no.
Okay.
I actually can't open
Check,
the
check the
collab
check the
feature.
like view retention thing on YouTube. It shoots up.
Okay,
right there.
are we ready to just
Yes.
watch together? In the actual video, I
Somebody pull
will
that quote.
be I will be just reading what he said verbatim, but I will not be giving him any screen time. I will not be showing the clip, and I'm not gonna say who said it other than like a very popular streamer said this. So
Larry
Here's the
David.
clip.
The Rat King, so we're good.
yeah, and I'm gonna screen share as well.
Okay.
I won't
So-
or I'm not gonna watch your screen share because then it will
Yeah.
pollute any audio that we have if you want to cut it out later.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like, why don't you just tell me? Are you just planning to press play and just watch it?
Yeah, we're gonna watch it through silently. So
Okay.
you can start and just tell me when yours has
Or I was gonna
ended.
say, you just tell
'cause-
me when you're gonna start, and then I'll
I've
just
done a
start
lot of
mine
watch
after.
Okay. I'm gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You see, HoloLive is going to cut support for their male VTubers. So male VTubers are over. Based? Yeah, based. So yeah, I mean,
Oh my
VTubing is
God.
all about girls. It is. It's a girl thing.
I'm
Now,
using
there
chat,
are guys that
guys.
are VTubers and, you know, more power to them. Good for them. But the reality is that VTubing is a female activity. VTubing is it's like a clever use of game mechanics, like an exploit, basically, where women can stream without having to be hot. That's it. And this is a huge, huge thing. Because, and I've said this before, is that if you look at the top 50 male streamers, the top 100 male streamers, there's going to be a lot of ugly dudes on that list. If you look at the top 50, the top 100 female streamers, every single one of them is going to be at least above average. And the reason why is because guys watch girls because they're hot. That's the reason why it's so
Not it.
obvious and everybody knows it. But, you know, people don't want to say this, but it's obviously true. So, you know, 2 of your mods are male VTubers? Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, there it is. 2 of my mods are male VTubers. Well, yeah. And listen, guys, listen. Yeah. Well, now you guys shouldn't join HoloLive, okay? I didn't know it was 2 of them. I thought it was just 1. They've multiplied now? We have 2 of them now? Oh my maker. How the bleep did we get a second one, man? And redacted? I don't know, man. And anyway, so here's the way I see it, right? Is that if you're like male VTubers serve no purpose. They have no,
So
like there's
true.
no reason for somebody to be a male VTuber because that, like the value that people get out of VTubing is the fantasy of the character. The male people that are watching are not, they don't need to fantasize about a male character. So there's no incentive that they're getting out of it. Sorry, redacted. Sorry, but I mean, you know, I'm right. You know, I'm right about that. I mean, that's just how it is. And again, I'm waiting to be proven wrong. And I've been waiting for a long time. Okay. Anonymity is the reason. Well, you can just stream without a webcam. I mean, you can do that. Look at redacted,
The
for
worst
example.
advice ever.
I mean,
Oh,
you
that's
don't
literally-
need an
fun.
avatar. I mean, I guess if you want to do it, that's fine. But I think that there's a lot of, and this is true, and I will say this, and this might get me in trouble. And I hope so. That way I can make content about it tomorrow. But
Glad
a
you're
lot of
so
the girls
honest.
that do VTubing, not all of them, there are many of them are attractive, but basically every single unattractive girl that's successful in streaming is a VTuber. Every single one, guaranteed every single bleeping one, and so maybe there's like a couple of exceptions on TikTok or something like that. But I guess I can't say every single one. I can say 99%. Okay, so that's it. Hate, threat, etc. Yeah, and that's the truth. And so if you're an ugly chick, you better get a VTuber model. You do. And I get that other ones do it for anonymity purposes. Other ones do it just because they don't want to have themselves out there all the time. More power to them. All the best to them. I have nothing against it, but I think that this other component needs to be acknowledged because it is real. And so that's all there is to it.
Okay, we've finished Gray.
That did not feel like 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
No, it felt like an eternity because there was so much that just like grinds my gears.
Yeah. If I had better rigging, you would have seen me roll my eyes like 3 times.
Oh my gosh. So, just because it was such a long clip, I figured I would paraphrase the main points that I think are relevant to our discussion here. The main points being male VTubers serve no purpose, VTubing is a female activity, and VTubing is an exploit where women can stream without having to be hot because guys watch girls because they are hot.
Somebody else can
Thoughts?
tackle this first.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. What is so annoying to me about this is that there are complex topics that he's touching on that are true, but he's not calling attention to the complex part of them. So, like his comment about you can look at the top 100 streamers that are male and there's a lot of ugly guys there, and you can look at the top 50 streamers that are female and there's almost none that are unattractive. And like that's kind of largely true, and I think at least, but that's not a good thing, right? And like, so what that tells me is that there are systemic biases in the existing audience on Twitch to like what kinds of content and what types of creators are successful. And I would say that most people would say that that's unfair. I think women are held to a higher standard of attractiveness. I think nobody should really disagree with that like aspect, but it's like phrased in such a like reductive and insulting way that it's just like I don't know.
It's rage bait.
It is what it. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, type of
Yeah.
like tone.
One thing you didn't point out is like a lot of the popular content creators, especially men, are also fantastically wealthy. That'll go a long way to helping you regardless of your appearances.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just so annoying. As far as like it's pointless, I think obviously we would all hope that. I don't think you can ever say that something is pointless just because the audience isn't there yet, because that would be true of literally everything. Like VTubing was pointless until it wasn't, right? So that is an attitude that the attitude is pointless, right? If you had that attitude when the very first VTubers were getting created, then maybe we wouldn't have HoloLive. But it's clear that there are large audiences for these things that can be built. What that makeup is right now is, you know, I don't know, but it's just, it's so annoying. It was like, it's the whole take is phrased in the most like reductive, like the only reason that guys watch women is because they're hot. And it's like, well, there's clear biases there, but it's also not true that the only reason that guys watch women is because they're hot. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
There's plenty of booby on internet, but fewer people who booby and also sing and voice act and all kinds of things. You know what I mean? Like there's many ingredients in our cultural stew.
Yeah, it's multifactorial.
Breast milk only being one of them.
Oh my gosh,
Well, the other thing too, well, like about not playing to a fantasy, right? Well, you don't. Okay, no one needs a fantasy, like economically, but I mean, some people just a guy in a room with a microphone. There's a lot of those already. It's kind of boring. You can be a silly goober in a fantasy castle or some kind of, you know, fungeon or what have you. You know. It's about the expressive.
He's taking this take as seriously as it deserves, honestly.
Okus is literally the opposite of the streamer that this comes from. Like he's the antidote.
I'm also broke, yes. I'm the opposite in every way.
Yeah, I mean, he says it. He says it himself in the clip. I really don't know what to say besides bait used to be believable. Like he like obviously knows this is like rage bait. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Greybot covered pretty much most of what I would say on this.
Yeah, I can add some things. So like, first of all, this streamer gives terrible advice. A lot. That's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
one huge thing, like, I am a VTuber manager, and part of the reason why VTubers do well is because it's easier to make a brand as a VTuber than a webcam streamer. You don't have to wear a clown wig and a clown nose with clown makeup and like every single time you want to stream. You can legitimately just like have this elaborate eye-catching design representing you on stream. Like that, it's easier. Legitimately, once you get the model, it is easier to show up in your brand every day as a VTuber. And something he said was like, oh, like, you shouldn't use a VTuber model as a male. You should just be a faceless streamer. That's when I know, number one, he's incredibly, like, he's
That is the
old,
worst
okay?
advice.
But also, that will actually stunt your growth so hard. I think
100%.
in terms of, like, getting discovered, I think that even male VTubers have a little bit of a buff over a webcam guy in his like bedroom with a backwards hat on. I still think that male VTubers can get discovered easier than that on
You guys
on
aren't wearing
Twitch.
clown makeup right now?
Yeah, you can be a literal peanut and you get a little buff.
Yeah, it's better. It stands out more in the sea
Yeah.
of streamers. You can
Also, have you tried lighting a live action camera? It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
It's pain, and also
can't
it's
even-
more expensive sometimes. Like, depending on your idea,
Yeah, that's
it
something
could
that
be
isn't
more
really addressed.
expensive.
It's pretty like low investment, especially with like pre-made models now to like get into VTubing compared to like doing face cam streams.
Right?
Although a little bit harder to get pre-made male models.
Yeah,
Male
okay, true.
models,
That is true.
But still, your point is still accurate. Which is, again, it's like, that's what's so frustrating about it, because he sort of touched on this whole concept, but in the most brusque and like insulting way, right? It's like, you don't have to get made up to look pretty for stream. Like, that is what we're saying. Like, I could just be in my pajamas and I still have the same brand. To put it in Yam's, terminology, my branding is the same no matter what I'm wearing, how bad my hair is, like whether I took a shower. Like, nobody's ever gonna know that as a VTuber, and that is a huge asset to being a VTuber for men and women, right? So I mean, I think there's a lot of upsides to being a VTuber.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes to show that he doesn't actually care about the people he's giving advice to, because he's actively giving them advice that's going to hurt them.
Well, hot take is priority one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also think
Yeah.
once you get like to like his level, there's like a certain disconnection they have with like what works as well. That kind of happens over time.
They stop watching what works because
Right.
as VTuber managers, we can say, you've got to keep your pulse or your finger on the pulse pretty tightly to even know like what you should be recommending to up and coming streamers, whereas streamers who already have their audience are just sitting on their nest egg all comfy like, and they don't have to look at like, the YouTube algorithm changes. They don't have to read the stupid like, oh, here's what's new at YouTube for all the creators,
If you try doing like a moist critical and just putting out a video with like about a random subject, it's just not gonna work for most people.
No.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's not even necessarily that they're out of touch. Like, they are out of touch, but there's also the reality that the hardest part is getting found in the first place. And once you get your head far enough above the crowd, your head becomes the brand. And so then people click because it's your brand. And the more that happens, the more it gets recommended to people. And so you see a Moist Critical clip and it's like, this has 2 million views. This guy must have something going on if you've never heard of him, right? And then you click it and you're like, yeah, he's pretty cool. But if that clip had 2 views, you just skip right past it and just go, who cares? And so not only do they get out of touch to the landscape of growth, but like they are aware of how to grow at their size, which is just
Right.
not applicable. It's like it's not even necessarily that they aren't paying attention. They're just not paying attention to, it's just they're just playing a completely different game.
Or back
Yeah.
whenever they first grew, like if you grew in 2017 on YouTube, none of that applies now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely
Yeah.
like a very evolving like platform in that like what works like maybe like a year or two ago really doesn't work sometimes like at the current moment.
Mm-mm.
Yep. And that applies to VTubing as well. If you do the VTuber debut song, like the
VTuber Q&A song.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Q&A song. Thank you.
Shell's song.
Like that used to get you like a sizable amount of people like checking you out, but now if you do it, everyone's like, oh, please. It's so like overdone, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But I think in terms of this guy's perception, the lens he looks through, it's kind of sad. I kind of feel bad for him if this is how he views people. And especially streamers. Like, I don't know how he managed to be sexist to everyone. Like,
I was
that's
just saying, like,
an
imagine being a
achievement.
female colleague watching that.
Right? Right? Because in my opinion, like, I love the part of the thing that got me into VTubing is because it kind of reminded me of puppeteering in the sense where it's like you get to sidestep that whole judgment of your appearance on the internet entirely. Which, I love that VTubers can like sidestep that and be judged for their character and their content rather than like, oh, are you hot or not hot in the first place, I think that I would be not creating content on the internet if I had to show my face. Not only for the anonymity, but also because whether someone considered me hot or not, they might like turn their brain off and not listen to me, especially as a woman, unfortunately, my opinion is often secondary to my looks in regular daily life, whether someone finds me attractive or unattractive is going to determine how they respond to my content. So it's great as a female VTuber to just be like, oh, I'm going to sidestep that. I'm going to make a character that I think looks cool and, services my brand. And then people can judge me based off of my skills in character design as well as my skills in video essay writing rather than is she hot or not. And I think that a lot of cam streamers don't understand that part of the appeal because they've made their actual face their brand. So they're like, why wouldn't you want to make your face your brand? But I don't know. I think that like there's survivor's bias there as well,
Insert plain diagram.
That
Yes.
could just be the thumbnail.
Like someone
think-
either had to. Oh, go ahead, Bray.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that does kind of touch on it though, is that like men don't face as much of that or hardly any of that with the looks evaluation, right? Like saying, like just put your face out there. When he's talking to men, it's largely because he's like, nobody cares if you're a man showing your face, right? Which is an unfair double standard that exists. Like everything that you said impacts women a lot more, I think, than it impacts men. So like,
Well, there's
you know.
plenty of men cam streamers that get 2 views. You
True.
know,
Oh, for
There might
sure.
be-
I mean,
there's a lot of guys on Twitch just sitting in an apartment with a
Yeah.
game green screen behind them. It might
And there's a
it might
lot of-
stand out a little more if you as a VTuber. I'm just saying.
I agree, but there's also a lot of attractive content creators that don't take off too. Like
Yeah.
there's male models in this world who don't get signed. Like
true also, of course.
I haven't personally checked the stats, but like what the crazy stat is nowadays. It's like Twitch. If you get like 5 average viewers, you're in the top like 8 percentile or something of the entire website. or something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I can tell you my stats right now. It's like not a very high number, but yet.
I haven't personally verified what the stats are in other platforms, but of the other extremely Twitch-like but non-Twitch-like platforms that focus on female creators, let's say, I wonder what the layout is there. If it's like the top 2% make like 90% of the money or whatever.
I think that, yeah, to not to go into like the specific platforms, but you know the really big one, the OF. Yeah, I think that is true actually. That like the top performers kind of make the bulk of like the platform's revenue. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's like stat I've
The-
heard.
Yes.
Oh,
The
that's
Air
100%
Cool
true on that.
Enthusiasts website. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
I mean, that's true on all of these
Mhm, mhm.
content websites for all
Right.
intents and
Yeah.
purposes. Like on Twitch, it is like the top 0.01% that are making the majority of the money on the platform. Like somewhere from like the 0.01% to the 0.1%. You know, it's like the top
Yeah.
couple hundred streamers out of literally millions that are earning money for Twitch as a platform. Which also, I mean, you know, not to sidetrack into that, but that is why I sometimes have sympathy for some of these platforms that a lot of people are like, that's just their problem. And you're like, well, yeah, but it's kind of all of our problem. Like people have no idea how expensive it is to run these platforms, which
Yeah.
dovetails into our conversation about how expensive it is to run a VTuber agency. It's very expensive to run a VTuber agency, and it's why all these small VTuber agencies fold, is they just go, yeah, man, we'll debut 5-10 talents and we'll have, 10 people on staff full time. And wait, what do you mean 10 people on staff full time means that you have to be earning like a like a $500,000 to $1 million a year just for staff before you're even talking about what the talents are getting, and not including any commissions you have to do, like all of a sudden that looks crazy when you look at how much money a person making even 100 CCV is bringing in. And so like, it's extremely top loaded in terms of the very small number makes a lot of the revenue, and there's a large majority that are costing revenue.
And plenty of that majority includes hot chicks.
Of course.
So
yeah, bringing that into
they're not
this
making money.
discussion-
It's not guaranteed,
Yeah, but like into the stars discussion in general, right? Like for that, it's like it costs a lot of money to run, a couple dozen male talents, and if they're not bringing in the money, like that money it has to come from somewhere, and like that makes it really difficult. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like this streamer's like worldview, like,
Such venom.
if you could even call it that, because I don't even think he's thinking about the whole world. I think he's thinking of his tiny little bubble that he can see from his throne.
His tiny little what? Oh, bubble. Oh, never mind.
Bubble with bees. But like, I can say that we've run the experiment of like, if everyone is hot, does everyone succeed? As VTubers, like pretty much everyone's models are either cute, hot, or handsome. Like you can kind of put everyone in a
really
category. And obviously there are like a small minority of people who watch because like, oh man, like that's the best VTuber design of all time, I'm gonna check them out. That does happen. But do they stick around?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
they do
anyone's
either.
sticking around for like 5-hour streams genuinely just because the live 2D model is hot and nothing else. I've never seen anyone like that, like I want to give men a lot more credit than this guy gives men.
Not on the purple side anyway.
There's plenty of VTubers are like literal models,
Yeah.
It's kind of a false dichotomy there.
Right? But I think that like, man, if this guy like only watches the creators he finds hot, that's a little bit of a self-report, right? Like,
True.
he just
We've been talking
he
about
genuinely
it in depth.
can't find content worth watching unless he is attracted to the person making it, apparently, which is Like, does he even watch content? I don't know. Like, maybe
that's
he's
what
a
lot of
React
his
streamer.
content is. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. Kind
Okay,
of React
okay.
heavy, but
He's a
Here-
React streamer. Okay.
Here's a
Yeah.
problem, not so much with content, but the very fabric of the universe in which we live is like we've been discussing it in depth for 20 minutes, and he just like cranked out a 90-second hot take, and the 90-second hot take is 8 billion times more clickable and shareable. It's a lot easier to pass that around on social media.
If
says
it
a
makes
lot
you
about
feel
our
better,
society.
Okus, his audience is like, I don't even know what his audience is. I don't know this streamer, but my audience is specifically creators who are looking at this stuff and being like, what do I do with all the information at hand? That's
Yeah.
our job here today, is to kind of like dissect what's going on so that creators can understand it and know how to react accordingly.
VTuber vivisection. I see. Yes.
that's crazy.
That's
That's
insane.
crazy.
That's insane.
That's
All
what the
right, we
thing
can
stands
move
for.
on. I mean,
Yeah.
Okus really said it. So okay. Okay, so we reacted to a venomously toxic take last time. So I figured that we could leave off on a positive note. Because I found this tweet and I think that this creator legitimately had a good take. So I can actually say their name. It's Chio Aqua. Chio Aqua writes, let me actually open it myself. Maybe I am just a VTuber because I love anime and art, and most people aren't actually VTubers to hide themselves. But because they love acting, puppeteering, anime, art, design, and maybe, just maybe, it's the same for guys. Streaming isn't just about the most efficient way to get views, it's about enjoyment.
Intrinsic value.
You guys like
What?
videos for the content? What?
That not for profit of my economic betters. Huh?
Hmm.
Optimizing cost benefit analysis, mergers, stock options.
Stock buybacks.
Yeah.
No, I concur. I like
This kind of reminds me of a funny thing on TikTok. A comment I'll see sometimes. Like a video will have like 2,000 views, and there'll be someone that comments like, "Sorry, I can't like this. It has too many few views. You know, I can't find it funny. You know, hit me back when it gets 10K views, and I'll laugh at it." Like I've seen that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's crazy.
And I feel like that could apply to Holo Stars too. Like, genuinely, I feel like these guys are hilarious. And I think if you took them out of the place, like the fan base that's around them, and plopped them somewhere else, people would just genuinely just find them funny out of context. Like,
Yeah,
they
remember
would
when they
create
had
a
a penalty
cargo
game?
cult around them. They would build shrines to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody remember when they had a penalty game where they had to post their underwear on Twitter?
oh my gosh, that entire cover that they did in said underwear too afterwards.
Was it
I don't
Yata?
know about this.
Yes, it was Yata.
Yay!
Yes. I will put like 6 seconds of Yata here if I can.
Man of
They're
culture.
just having, like, genuinely, I know that a lot of these guys have to have jobs to continue their activities as stars. And it's like I can say that they are some of the creators that I can tell genuinely are in love with what they do. And they wouldn't be there if they weren't in love, because they have like Sisyphus's boulder in front of them, you know?
Yeah.
We must imagine Sisyphus happy.
But it's like, isn't that enough? Like, can't the enjoyment of making content and people's enjoyment of the content be enough? I understand from Cover's perspective that's not enough, but like, us as viewers, can't that be enough?
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about the motivation, she's 100% right. Is like the motivation to be a VTuber comes from all of these different aspects that we love. I would say the vast majority of VTubers are not VTubers because they think it is the meta. Like that's not
You get
why we're
laughed at,
doing
like
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
like even the biggest VTubers are still pretty small compared to like mainstream, whatever they do, music and stuff,
it was actually a huge shock because I'm way too underground in only VTuber land that when
Yeah.
Iron Mouse went to the Stream Awards, the reactions of people to Iron Mouse gave me a little bit of a shock to remember that like we are a laughing stock.
Yeah, whenever I go on
kind-
TikTok and a VTuber video breaches containment, it's bad.
It's bad. I see.
It's always a jolt when I see like a normal person video and it has like, tens or hundreds of millions of views. And that's normal. That's like what a normal successful video would look like, So in the realm of not just VTubers, but in the realm of like weirdo content where hundreds of thousands to millions of views is fantastic.
Yeah, like thinking of another example, like the Iron Mouse one. Remember the VTuber concert one with the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Model
gosh.
That
They
is a
just
great
wanted to
example
dunk
of
on that
this.
guy.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Well, I think what's really crazy, and I mean, again, this once again sort of shows the gender bias in the streaming. If you pull up the charts of the top 10 female streamers, like 7 out of the 10 or 8 out of the 10 are VTubers.
Mm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
there is a large penetration of the market, but in the streaming quote general sphere, people are like, who the fuck is this weirdo Iron Mouse? Which is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. And so like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
And in terms of the fantasy being sold, my one rebuttal would be look up the Omaru Polka original song Po, which sits
love
at
that
over
one.
5 million views. It's not quite it's not quite the fantasy that is being described here.
Also, I
Which
just
is
thought of
very
that a
well
little
received.
bit, like about the fantasy thing. I mean, Neurosama is penetrating the top charts as well, which is
Yeah.
like kind of goes against like the idea that they're there for like the female that per se that's behind the avatar.
Yeah. Some people just like
Yeah.
weird crap, It's-
That you could boil this 2.5 hour long interview down to okay. But here's the thing: I'm someone who's so used to just being into the weird archaic stuff. So I have a love for orchestra. Okay, like orchestra sometimes gets like to shine in like movie scores, but generally it's considered kind of a obsolete art. I hate to say that, but it kind of is, where we kind of live in the age of digital music and orchestra is incredibly expensive, so you wonder why so many people dedicate their entire lives to still becoming a virtuoso violinist or cellist or oboist, and it's the love of the game at this point. It is the love of the game because there's so much depth to it. Same with this is gonna seem like a left field, but clown college and clowning, that is
There's a lot of
generally
overlap there with VTubers.
I was just thinking that.
well, okay, there really is, and I've done an entire stream talking about how much I love clowning, so I'll keep it brief, but really
Look
the
who you
people
invited.
who really the people who go to clown college, they're not thinking, yes,
Princeton?
I'm about to make bank. They're thinking,
Yeah.
I am so passionate about this, there's nothing that will stop me from
Yeah.
making
From robbing a bank. Wait,
You people have stood in my way long enough. I'm going to clown college.
So I feel like VTubing is just another extension of me having weird sub-niche interests that I can't leave alone. And
Yeah,
I think that most people feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I've bounced from like the MLP to the Sonic fandom. I'm used to like being in a fandom that's kind of bullied by the internet.
No
Yeah.
comment on the Sonic fandom. We'll save that. For another-
Yeah.
that's a whole other podcast. We'll do that.
Yeah.
That's going on your channel, Okus? I'm not running.
I'm not hosting the Sonic Talk.
Maybe
No.
Squeegee will host it again.
Okay, but let's find some way
Moving on
around
here.
this.
Also, you know what? The other thing too, aside from there's the whole girl failure aesthetic. That indirectly reminded me. It's not just hot girls or whatever. It's people like literally dysfunctional neats. There's
But
There's a
because they're
whole-
VTubers, they also get to be hot.
Yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah.
can kind of do both, but
Yeah. You
I
can
just
have the
thought of that
Menhera
because
and
I-
also hot.
Yeah.
talking about EG reminded me of Rima's fungal growth coffee filter.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
And that
gosh.
made
God, oh no.
We're not going closer to the nice wrap up of this interview.
That just reminded me of girl failures for some reason, and I was like, oh yeah, that's popular. I don't have to be-
I
Some
know,
people
but we're
use the VTubing to accentuate their foibles, not to mask them. Is my point. That's the way I would
Yeah.
summarize that.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think part of the appeal of VTubing is getting to be yourself without having people judge you to your face, for sure. And like, we live in the digital age where like if you create YouTube and you're just like full legal naming yourself like Drew Gooden, you're kind of like shooting
better get
yourself in the
rich as
foot
hell,
in
or
terms
you're
of
gonna get-
like
Yeah.
getting employment in the future, like
Yeah.
if you do unhinged stuff on the internet and you tie it to your person on the internet, you kind of have to make it as a content creator sometimes, because what else are you gonna do now? Like, who's
You
gonna
ain't
hire
running for
you?
office.
Ah!
Yeah. Good luck with that.
On the other hand, let's get our first VTuber president. Come on, let's make it happen.
I mean, we've gotten plenty of actor presidents. It's not too far off.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's a
How
lot
do-
of
how do
drugs
I-
and
Your
sex
brain.
from the VTubers, so
yeah.
What if the first
I
woman
mean-
president is a VTuber?
Where was I going with this? I was trying to tie it all with a neat bow.
I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay.
yeah, we
come
are all
on.
neats. I mean, that does make sense.
Neat. Neat bow. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's getting
something
worse.
About,
It's decaying.
VTubers. Something about VTubers being worth it for VTubing itself.
Intrinsic
Whether or
value.
not it gets funding, it's worthwhile, and it's not the lack of support that killed Holo Stars. It's the fact that a lot of the times content creation ventures aren't lucrative, and that's not the Holo Stars' fault.
Yeah.
Like, that's not their fault. And they are genuinely talented guys. If you've heard different on the internet, like, genuinely give them a watch. I think part of the thing that contributed to the downfall of Holo Stars was they didn't have the marketing to support genuinely who they were, and who I'm talking like they're dead, sorry. Genuinely who they are, and they were in like this rock and a hard place of just like, well, VTubers are expected to be this, and this, and they didn't check the boxes, so they didn't take off. But if you genuinely gave them a chance, if you genuinely watched them without like thinking of like the, oh, am I weird for watching a male VTuber, I think you would have a lot of fun. Like, it's just a fun time. And I think that goes for male VTubers in general. And I think that the future of male VTubers, from a female viewer who watches a lot of male VTubers, like I watch mostly male VTubers, and I watch them with my boyfriend. It's not weird.
Lots of
like,
couples do that.
Yeah, I genuinely think that it's really just a new flavor of the whole like faceless streaming, and I think it's an enhanced version of the faceless streaming. You get a lot of guys who are more shy. Like, on camera, but they are opening up because they're not on camera. And I think that's part of the appeal of like male VTubers is like they wouldn't have become cam streamers. I don't think many of them would have ever given it a try if they couldn't hide their identities, similar to me. I relate to that. And so they're more willing to be unhinged and they're more willing to be like themselves, their genuinely cringe selves, because they get to hide behind the avatar.
I get to be a silly little guy and remain employable, theoretically.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Oh yeah, we better start that male VTuber fund for Okis,
Yeah.
apparently.
I better, as long as
Okay.
YouTube stays off the resume. The rest
Unfortunately, my resume is YouTube now. That's
Yeah.
the scary part.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do. Does anyone have any closing remarks that you would like to tell my audience about male VTubers, about Holo Stars, about yourself, about your own content? What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm currently running for political office.
Sweet. Sick.
Going for the first male VTuber president.
Got it. Kenny for president.
Yes.
Tummy's out for Kenny.
Plant some flowers, ride a boat, get some walking in, go to the beach, and stay gold.
So far from what it started as.
Okay, well, if you're a male VTuber, just give it a shot. Think about what you're doing, and try to find out like some market research. Do something a little different, and don't listen to people that are the rat king when it comes to VTuber takes. That's my advice.
Listen to the Bat Queen.
True.
I'm trying to give you good advice. Genuine.
I guess I would say that if you haven't checked out a lot of male VTubers, but you've had fun sitting here with us yapping and joking and being silly dumbasses, there's a lot of us out there that are pretty funny, if I do say so myself, and I know that's overplayed, but it's true. And if you give a lot of us a chance, you can find some very sweet, loving communities. So I would say that would be my advice to viewers if you are not currently in any male VTuber streaming spaces. If you are a male looking to VTube, I would just say just look into it. It's not that hard to get started, and there are now some customizable male models as well as customizable female models if you either don't care or if you want that. There are several male VTubers who use female models and are quite successful as well. So there are lots of options, and just give it a try. And for me, myself, speaking of design, I have a big 2.0 coming up soon. TM, my model's almost done. But no, I'm not going to show you. So that's coming out soon. I'm very excited, and I've been working on it for over a year. So anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And thank you all. Again, every single one of these VTubers, I think you got a sense of their personality here. But
We'll see what makes the edit.
Yeah.
it is still a serious video essay, but I will try to encapsulate the magic that happened tonight. And
Yeah, once the VOD comes out, I might
genuinely-
make some clips, honestly.
yes, this full VOD will be available. Like if I'll probably put it in the video essay portion, but reminder to Yam to say the full VOD will be available on the second channel and to link it.